But yeah, going to the Open for the first time, that was a kind of a late, you found out pretty late, right?
I did. Yeah. Just, I mean, we were at the hospital, or no, we was at the doctor's office making like one of the last, visits before, she was going to go into labor, and it was not even like a month before.
Yeah.
And we find out like, all right, you're in. And so like, we're having to make game time because of course I'm like, I can't leave you like 2 days after, but then at the same time, it's like I'm first time getting into the Open, and so it's just it was needless to say, it was a whirlwind of a time, and I'm fortunate and thankful that it happened the way that it did, because it was crazy. I mean, it could have gone a bunch of different ways, and fortunately, it all worked out well.
Yeah, and you played in the Open like during COVID. I remember texting you saying you need to go to this place, and you're like, I'm pretty much locked down. Like, which is tough.
Yeah.
But I think you did tell me that the Players Lounge had good wine. I think is what you told me.
Yes, they did. They had a little whiskey. They had it stood up to the expectations of European Tour golf, and how they, you always around Ryder Cup time you think about the camaraderie of the European team versus USA, and it just makes sense when you go and see like after the rounds, like they're literally going to the bar and the locker room and having a drink together and kicking it, where in the States it's not as buddy as that. So that was such a cool part of the week.
Yeah. I mean, going over there, had you played links golf before that? Had you been to Europe and played golf on a buddy's trip?
No, it was first time over to Europe.
Yeah. So the wind's not really an issue, because you grew up in Oklahoma, playing in Oklahoma State, so wind is not an issue, but just general different golf over there, isn't it? A lot of ground balls and pop bunkers are the enemy. And what was that first experience like, or first practice round like?
Well, the first practice round was straight off the plane, so it was a little bit I probably don't remember much actually, but no, it was it was so cool. And like you said, the wind part wasn't foreign to me. The tough part was the speed of the greens and around the greens, like you often see, like we joke about the scores, probably like the walking, the standard bearer and the scores that put into the system, green hit, putting. It's like there was probably times where they messed up, because like there's so often there's really no difference, right? And so that was an adjustment. And we talked about how much of an advantage it was, like Colin and a few other obviously big names went the week prior and played the Scottish before.
Gotcha.
And we were talking about what an advantage that was, because you start to get acclimated with that style of golf, with the speed of the greens, the just the undulation around the greens, just getting that just acclimated and familiar with it all, the nuance of it, because it is as it's very, very different. And in what we're trying to do, the difference between winning and missing the cut or playing well or not, it's very, very slim. And so that little bit of comfort and familiarity and just that acclimation to that style of golf, it makes a big, big difference.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when I first came to the States. I struggled to putt and chip because the greens are so fast. And I remember the first USGA event I played in, I felt like I was putting down the stairs. I putted so bad that week because I'd never putted on greens that fast. But for you, it's the opposite. You're going there, they're putting at like a 10, right? Or an 11 maybe.
Right.
If it's windy, they are, but they don't look like they're fast either. There's a lot of growth there, so they don't break as much. And like, I mean, are you a die putter, or are you a bit of like a...
I'm a little bit of a die putter, which for me makes it tough, right? And so it was such a change,
God, I do miss it. I can't wait to go back and play some golf over there. But yeah, it's like after playing events here, you're just like, it's different golf. I mean, people don't get it unless you play both, right? Oh,
no doubt. And you always hear in my world about the difference in the golf and the difference in the fans, and it's essentially the antithesis of what we were just talking about with the waste management. Like, it's the complete opposite. And after now being over there, I haven't played the Masters yet, but I tell people, if I could win one golf tournament, it would be the Open. Yeah. And it's because of the environment, the fans, just the way that they, not that, again, like I said, I love waste management. I love the rowdiness. But there's just a different type of respect for the game, for what we're doing. you know, I played with Bryson on Saturday, and this was at the Open, and this was at a time when there was, you know, a lot of, you know, Brooks and Bryson and this and that chatter and whatnot, and it was just crazy because I had played with them either right before or right after, and it was just crazy to see the difference in how fans treated him there versus here.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I love some rowdiness. I wouldn't mind if golf got a little bit edgier, but it's so cool to see kind of just the roots of a gentleman's game be played, and the fans kind of reciprocate kind of that just environment and that respect.
Yeah. And the one thing that comes to mind is you probably got clapped a lot for, like, if you were ever short-sided, you're in a tough spot and you hit it to 10 feet, they probably really clapped you and they understood how good that shot was. Whereas out here, you're like, I've just like basically got it to 10 feet and that's amazing. I have a world-class shot. People are like, you don't get any claps. Right?
Correct.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, we laughed about it because, you know, over here you can hit a wedge to 40 feet, but if it spun 20 feet to get to that 40 feet, people are, you know, going crazy because everyone's just so much more infatuated by the awe-inspiring stuff, the shock factor stuff here, and where they just have a little bit better understanding of what, you know, the true, you know, just solid golf is, what a good play, what good golf is. So it's just different.
Do you think going forward then the plan would be to kind of, I guess, play the Scottish before and then take a family trip, because it'd probably be around, you know, your little one's birthday, right? So
that's super ironic you said that, but that's exactly what we're going to do. Awesome. And so I would have loved to have last year gone to the Scottish, but long story short, the PGA Tour just recently, you know, basically got into a relationship with the European Tour, and now the Scottish they would send a handful of invites to, you know, players from the PGA Tour US, and so, you know, I would have loved to play last year, but I wouldn't have gotten a spot in the field. But now moving forward, because of the relationship with the PGA Tour and European Tour kind of changing, there's now going to be guaranteed a lot more spots for PGA Tour players. And so based off of my play, I'm going to have a spot into that field. And so like I said, it's such a value, so valuable to go and play the week before. And it's just, you know, get a chance to go and play. I mean, it's a dream come true kind of thing. And like you said as well, we keep talking about this little girl's going to be a little bit spoiled because we just went and submitted all of her passport paperwork, because she's going to be coming over. My wife and girl are going to come over for the Scottish, for the British, and her birthday's, you know, over at the same time. Awesome. And so it's going to be a cool trip.
What a great time for her to have a birthday.
Oh, right? Yeah. Must be nice. Must be nice.
Yeah.